G'day everyone, welcome to another track guide brought to you by SIMRIGS. This week for the last round of the GT3 Fix series, we are at IMOLA for a very dark track guide. As you can see, we've got the lights on the BMW. There are no circuit lights at IMOLA, so yeah, it's going to be a very dark week. Those that haven't quite got the track knowledge or you haven't done much racing at IMOLA, I suggest doing some practice, obviously, during the daytime. It's definitely going to help you get to know the track, learn the track a bit better than having to jump right into the deep end during a 20-minute sprint race and get to know the track with just the lights on the front of your car. For this week, the in-sim time will be the 1st of April 2022 and 8:40 p.m. Obviously, we have variable weather on, so the temperatures might vary a little bit. We're running at about 24 degrees track temperature at the moment. As usual, we'll go through some lines, some braking markers, and talk on some of the importance of some of the off-tracks here. There are a few areas where you can utilize them to your advantage, but there also are a few areas where they will really bite you and ruin your race or ruin your qualifying lap. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's learn a little bit about IMOLA. So coming into turn 1, which is easy flat. Braking for turn 2. This little sort of escape road or marshalling road on the right hand side. Just as our cars, pretty much as we're hitting that road, we want to be on the brakes. 6th gear, down into 3rd gear. So for 2, really don't want to be hitting those sausage curves on the inside. And you don't want to be pushing out wide towards 3. You want a wide entrance into 3, so you can be 100% on full 100% throttle on the exit of 3 and 4 all the way through the corners. Braking for 5, quite tricky because you're turning while braking. So probably 2/3 of the way between the 100 and the 50 boards on the brakes, down from 5th into 4th. You can take quite a bit of the curb on 5. As the car's off the curb, I'm then down into 3rd gear and missing the sausage curb completely for Villeneuve turn 6. And you can use quite a bit of the off track here on the exit of Villeneuve. Getting the car back over to the right hand side of the track for Tosa, turn 7. And again, just as the car hits this bit of escape road here, down from 4th gear into 2nd. The line I use for the exit of Tosa or for the entry to exit of Tosa is quite wide, so I can get a good run, good drive up the hill. But again, that depends. If you're in a race, mid-battle, probably don't want to be leaving the door wide open. So you can use a little bit of the off-track here on the exit of 7 for the drive up the hill. Turn 8, easy flat, blind crest. And then to turn 9, Piratella. Braking at the 50 board, down from 5th into 3rd. I trail brake all the way to the corner, all the way to the apex. Off the brake, you can use a little bit of the exit off track, but not too much. Probably half the car over woods is probably a bit too much probably don't really want to be risking that. Turn 10, flat. Now, Aqua Minerale, 11, 12 and 13. Really awesome corners, but also quite tricky. So, full throttle down as you get to the 50 board. Turn the car in. On the brakes, I brake all the way to the first apex, and off the brake, let the car sort of settle down, and then down 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Don't want to be hitting these sausage curbs for the exit Aqua Minerale on 12. It's really going to unsettle the car. But the exit is also very, very important here for the drive up the hill out of 13. So the off track here on the left-hand side on 13 is quite lenient now. It used to be very, very strict, but pretty much you can have the whole car, as long as you've got 2 wheels on the curb, on the road, you can pretty much have your whole car sitting on that AstroTurf. Very handy for not having to keep such a tight exit, really good for getting for a good run out of 13. Now another tricky corner now, set of corners, 14 and 15 Variante Alta, used to be quite lenient with the curb hopping here, but now it's quite different. It's quite strict now. The big black sausage curbs to be respected, otherwise you're definitely going to get a 1x, and for the exit of 15 as well. So I'm braking, imagine a imaginary 60 meter board before the 50 meter board, that's where I'm braking. Fourth gear down into second. Try and have a bit of a wide line so you can flick it back for turn 15. Don't even want half the car, pretty much just your right hand side wheels on either set of curbs on 14 and 15 on those sausage curbs. Any more than that, you're going to be getting a 1x. And also really careful for the exit. Again, really want to be careful, 2 wheels on the curb at all times, and make sure to get off the curb back onto the road before the ripple strip ends on the right hand side, otherwise you're going to be on track for another 1x. Coming up to the final part of the lap, running down the hill into turn 16, and then 17, 18, Ravazza 1 and 2. So braking probably 1/3 of the way past the 100 to the 50, down into second gear, trail braking all the way to the apex, but not taking too much of this curb or ripple strip or AstroTurf for Ravazza 1, you will get a 1x. Same with the exit of Ravazza in the middle. I keep it in second gear. I try not to use any brake to make the second Ravazza, just off the throttle, turn the car in. Really want to be careful for this apex for turn number 18, so the second Ravazza, because you want to be getting a really good run onto the long straight for Imola, but also there's a good chance that you could get not only a 1x but a slowdown if you take too much of that curb, so you really want to be careful with that. Also for the exit of 18 as well. As long as you've got your 2 wheels on the asphalt, you're no worries. And that is a lap of Imola. As I said, make sure you do some laps in the under the sun so you can actually see what's going on. A lot easier to learn the track like that. So now that we've spoken about it, let's see if we can put it into practice and go out and set a hot lap. With the lights ablaze, we start the fast lap of Imola under the moonlight, close to the pit wall. Come into turn 1, obviously easy flat, moving over to the right hand side of the road, setting us up for 2, braking out the escape road. Missing those big sausage curves and then being flat on the throttle out of 3 and 4. Right hand side for 5 and 6, just before the 50. Fourth gear, off the brake, a little bit more brake, missing that sausage curb. And trying to get good drive up the hill. Coming up to turn 9, braking at the 50, trail braking to the apex. Now Aqua Minerale, turning in, braking at the 50. Not hitting those curbs on the entry, but trying to use as much curb on the exit. Just before the 50. Second gear, being really careful with our curb usage. Not wanting to cop an off track there. Now coming up to the end of the track here. Ravazza 1 and 2, braking just after the 100. 2 gears, trail brake to the corner. Not taking too much of the inside of the track. Don't want to risk an off track or a slowdown. And trying to get good drive out of turn number 18 for the end of the lap. And that is a hot lap during the evening at Imola. Thanks for jumping on board this week, guys. Look, I've really enjoyed taking you through some laps of Imola and hopefully being able to help you guys find a couple of tenths, make some speed, and help with your track knowledge. Remember, If you're not super familiar with IMOLA, this week it will be raced in the evening, so definitely advisable to do some practice under the daylight, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to learn the track and pick some markers that are gonna work for you. Remember, play around with your brake bias, because you do want a really solid rear end around here for some of the downhill trail braking, and also the gears that are going to work for your chosen car. So that's why it's always advisable. I always recommend definitely do some, half an hour of testing beforehand in the car that you want to use for the week, just to make sure that you really know how that car is going to work around IMOLA. Look, as this is the final round for this series, week 13 is coming up next week. I hope you guys enjoy your week 13 shenanigans. I just want to say thank you. I've really enjoyed bringing you guys these track guides for the past couple of months, and thanks to SIMRIGS for giving me the opportunity and the privilege of being able to make these videos for you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys next season and hopefully making some other cool content. Enjoy the video and enjoy your week 13 shenanigans. Thanks, guys.